In this video, I congratulate the Aam Admi Party or AAP, its Punjab State head Bhagwant Mann, and the AAP Party national head Arvind Kejriwal for winning the election in Punjab State in India, and offer some suggestions on changes that should be made in the state and the steps to be taken for economic development. Hello friends, this is Unmasked Truth with Harmanjeet Saini, where I provide unique analysis of world events based on the unmasked truth that after surrender, Germany continued World War II clandestinely and became a killing machine. I also provide true news that you will find nowhere else. The AAP, under the national leadership of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal and the state leadership of Mr. Bhagwant Mann, has won the election in the State Assembly in Punjab State in India with an overwhelming majority, winning 92 seats in the 117-member assembly. That is a more than three-fourths majority in the state. This is the first time ever the party has won a majority to form a government in Punjab, making it only the second state in which the AAP will be forming a government. My heartiest congratulations to Mr. Mann and Mr. Kejriwal for this magnificent victory. I apologize for a few days' delay in offering my congratulations. The reason is that I have been working these few days to offer my suggestion to the Bhagwant Mann government, which are described in this video. My heartiest congratulations and highest regard for the voters of Punjab also. They have demonstrated absolutely incredible maturity in sweeping the state clean of corrupt and non-performing politicians. The corrupt politicians did not perform when they ran government for five reasons. First, they are thoroughly corrupt. The money that was to be invested in development for the state or to help the ordinary citizens was stolen by them to line their own pockets for personal benefit. Corruption also made the government inefficient. Government's work was not done unless bribes were paid, which wasted people's time and energies, which they could have used to improve their earnings. Secondly, many of the elected leaders, including the most senior ones, were criminals who had committed murders to obtain financial incentives from the Germans and their Indian allies, whose clandestine goal was to destroy Punjabis, particularly Sikhs, because they fought the Germans during both world wars. Because of their criminal activities, these leaders were very easy to blackmail and were being blackmailed to act against the interests of Punjabis and Sikhs. For example, they were blackmailed into not taking strict action against drug dealers in Punjab, the purpose of which is to destroy Punjab youth. In addition, if anyone wanted to stop Punjab from setting up any particular industry in the state, the leaders could be blackmailed into stopping it. In addition, the central government could implement any policies that helped other states at the expense of Punjab State. Thirdly, the past leaders lacked vision for development in the state. They simply did not understand what makes a state or a people great. They had no understanding of how economic development takes place. That's why over the past 5 decades, they took no steps for economic development. Punjab, from being the highest per capita income in the country by far, has dropped to the bottom half in India and is sliding down even further. Instead, with their policies of stealing from the government, they were actually destroying the economy of the state. Fourthly, they lacked the humility to understand that one of or few persons cannot possess all knowledge necessary for government. A leader with humility understands that and surrounds himself with the best capable talent in every field of government policy, listens to them with mutual respect, and develops policies that are best for the state. A humble leader learns from the best practices from other states in India and even from anywhere in the world. And finally, they did not sense that we Punjabis and Sikhs in particular faced from the Germans and their Indian and Muslim allies on our borders the threats that we faced to exterminate us. They did not understand that we are in this existential threat to our lives together. If 4 to 5 of our top leaders accumulate $30 to $50 million each, they simply did not realize that it cannot save them from being exterminated. We have to fight together collectively to protect ourselves. That means each and every one of us must grow smarter, stronger economically, intellectually through education, and physically to be able to defend ourselves against all threats. 4 or 5 strong leaders will not be able to protect themselves alone. We either survive together or perish together. That's the kind of deadly danger we face. Therefore, the few leaders enriching themselves at the expense of all others is the most foolish way to act as leaders. Now that a decisive victory has been won by the AAP and it has an overwhelming majority which enables it to easily pass legislation and set the agenda in all spheres of government activity, what should the agenda for the Punjabis and the state government be going forward? First, the voter agenda. Voters of Punjab do not tolerate corruption in government employees or from anyone else in government ever again. If you see corruption, expose it. Complain to the government. If the government does not take action to end it, expose it in the social media. Never again elect those individual government leaders and vote the party out of power as you have done this time. Never ever elect murderers like the Badals, Majitias, and the likes of Navjot Singh Sidhu, and any others who obtained their positions and financial rewards for committing murder. They will be blackmailed to do things to hurt Punjab and will only commit more murders to remain in power. The time for justice will come to pay for those crimes. But in the meantime, if they want to engage in economic activities such as setting up industries to create jobs, they should be given all the state support in doing so in fair competition. Now, what is the agenda for the AAP and the Punjab unit of Aam Admi Party? The Badals and Captain Amrinder Singh and other Punjab politicians could not look or think beyond Punjab. That has been the main reason Punjab became a state from being the highest per capita GDP state to in the lower half among Indian states. However, economy and treatment of Punjabis in other states depends on interaction with the central government and other state governments. Punjab AAP should get out of the mindset of looking only at Punjab affairs but must take the lead in national AAP politics along with leaders like Mr. Arvind Kejriwal and other stalwarts as equal partners. Do not forget, you now rule one of the biggest states in the Indian Union with a diverse economy as compared to Delhi state. Take decisions regarding Punjab in consultation and advice from Mr. Kejriwal and others, but not have decisions dictated by them. They have achieved great success in clean and good government in Delhi. They can teach Punjab much. At the national level, do not neglect anything that harms the interests of Punjabis. For example, the Indian military has taken a decision to disperse Sikhs thinly throughout various other units rather than keep them in Sikh regiments and units. Prima facie, this indicates malafide intentions of other Indians against Sikhs. The purpose is to make it easy for themselves to kill Sikhs. Punjab government must raise this issue and force the military to reverse such harmful decisions. Never take such decisions lying down. Such obnoxious decisions and injustices against Sikhs or Punjabis must be opposed tooth and nail until they are reversed. The 2022 election in Punjab has ushered in a revolution. Punjab being the biggest state and people of Punjabi origin living in the sister states of Himachal Pradesh, which has the next election in 2022, Jammu and Kashmir, next election likely in 2022, Haryana, next election in 2024. Punjab, Aam Admi Party must take equal lead with the national leadership to carry out the same revolution in these states. Again, though I do not advocate for any particular party, I am 100% for clean government. Punjab AAP can lead the way in this as Delhi AAP demonstrated in the past and continues to do so very well. Therefore, Punjab AAP leaders should set their eyes on bringing out the same revolution in these sister states along with the national leadership. Joining up in an alliance with these sister states and UP, Delhi and Uttarakhand and acting in unison on economic development is extremely important for economic development of the entire region, as I will explain in the implementation of the economic development plan. Remember, citizens of these states are mainly ethnic Punjabis, our fellow brothers and sisters. I call all this the Greater Punjab region. Punjab, with its coalition partners in the Greater Punjab region states, must also develop a global perspective. This is absolutely essential in negotiating with multinational corporations for our economic development. Moreover, we have enemies in the Pashtuns, Afghans, and the Chinese who, under German influence, are targeting us for destruction. Therefore, having a global perspective is absolutely essential in being able to ably articulate our international problems before world leaders. Remember to think nationally and globally instead of having only a state level outlook. It is absolutely critical that Punjab AAP develop able political leaders who can deal with national and global leaders. The best corporations develop leaders 3 to 4 deep, meaning that leaders numbers second, third, or fourth in the hierarchy have been provided sufficient experience and capability to step up into the top spot if ever the need arises. That is the mark of a great leader, to develop such leaders. Mr. Bhagwant Mann should consider leader development a top priority for his party. For this purpose, he must attract people from diverse backgrounds into the party and encourage them to make contributions in their spheres of experience to the state. Now, what is the agenda for the Punjab government? Regarding agenda for the Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann government, I am first going to state the obvious, which the AAP already plans to implement. First, end corruption. The first order of business should be to end corruption in government. Corruption flows down from the top. End MLAs selling themselves to the highest bidder. I don't know the laws, but if possible, pass laws in the state that if any MLA wants to change party, he or she must first resign and then fight the election from the seat from his or her new party. This will stop party switching after accepting bribes. Invite the people to complain if they find anything wrong with the government, listen to them and address their problems. I think AAP is already tuned to doing that. Prosecute and remove from office anyone caught giving or accepting bribes. Any legislator caught accepting bribes or ethics violations must be forced to resign and barred from election for at least 10 years. But this goes hand in hand with paying state employees a fair living wage. That makes it extremely important to expand the state's economy to realize more revenues to be able to pay the employees fairly. Number 2, rule of law. There is nothing more important for a people or state to become great than to establish rule of law where everyone, including the chief minister and government ministers, are considered equal to the citizens and not above the law. This means murders, rapes, other violent crimes, tax violations, corruptions, and all other crimes are prosecuted so that people learn to live lawfully. A rule of law in their early years is what made America and Britain and other developed countries great. Police must be taught that their job is to uphold the law and then help citizens. Number 3, remove religion out of politics. While it is not right to prohibit a party like the Akali Party or the BJP because they are identified with particular religion, religion and state must be separated. I would also advise the Akali Party to change its name based on religion, and develop an agenda and mission to develop and implement non-religious state and national development and governance policies. No religious fund should ever be allowed to be used for political purposes such as fighting elections or other political party expenses. In this regard, I suggest that all religion level historical places of worship such as the Golden Temple, Gurdwara, Sikhs, Ganj, Rakab, Ganj, Fatehgarh Sahib, etc. for the Sikhs should be commonly administered. These Gurdwara accounts should be audited. Offerings should be taken in locked boxes and preferably receipts issued for payments by check. and state may consider allowing charitable deductions for those if not already being done by the central government. Granthis and other preachers should be paid salaries, and remaining funds should be used for maintenance of the places of worship, preaching, or other educational or charitable activities. However, if a person opens a gurdwara at a location of his or her own choosing for local congregations, he should have the freedom to run it as he deems fit. Same principles can be implemented in Hindu temples, Muslim masjids, and Christian churches. I would advise Sikhs in the AAP to also contest SGPC or Shromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee elections and bring clean administration to places of worship so that the revenues are used for the welfare of the particular religious community and not siphoned off by corrupt individual leaders. Number 4. Unite all Punjabis. Though parties win elections, no matter which party wins the election, it must govern for the benefit of all people. All government services should be available to all Punjabis without party affiliation and without discrimination. We need all Punjabis to work together for the economic development of the state, and entrepreneurs drive economic development. All those affiliated with the Akali Party or the Congress or BJP must be given all state help as given to those affiliated with the AAP to set up businesses and industries so that they can create more high-paying jobs in the state. They do this for themselves as well as helping the state. Akali, Congress, and BJP leaders must all work together to develop the state economically. If they need to negotiate with the central government or other state governments or individuals or corporations to benefit the state, they must all put up a united front to do so. Once Punjabis demonstrate that they are united, economic victories will be more easily realized. Unity should never be compromised when working for economic development in the state. We should not resort to party politics and pulling down the others to win the next election. Present a united front in negotiation or working for economic development for the state, or negotiating with multinationals or other state governments or the central government. Number 5. Implement the economic development plan. I have provided some elements of the economic development plan for North India, including Punjab, in my video of January 11, 2021 titled What is Next After North India's Declaration of Independence. I will continue to regularly communicate those steps in the economic development plan. As a starting point, the elements of the plan are A. Punjab population of close to 28 million is very small compared to the rest of India. Hence, our population cannot support manufacturing output of large companies. Therefore, making alliances with sister states becomes crucial. The sister states or the region should function as a common market for companies doing business in the region. The common market will have a population of nearly 300 million, particularly when UP is included. That would be a tempting market size for any multinational corporation to locate its operations in our states. But why is a common regional market necessary? At present, most of the manufacturing, information technology, research, banking, and other industries are located in other parts of India, which I will refer to as Other India. They get all the benefits of high-paying jobs whereas we function only as a market for them. That's why Punjab and our sister states have slipped from the top GDP states to the bottom half in the country. For our own economic development, people in our common market must learn that they must buy products of companies which have located their operations in our states as the top priority. We must learn to diligently pursue this policy as all the Gujaratis, Rajasthanis, Bengalis, and all South Indian states do. With this large, well-disciplined market, we can negotiate with companies like Amazon, Apple, Google, HP, Dell, Samsung, Toyota, etc. to set up part of their manufacturing operations and research facilities in our states also, even though they have operations in other Indian states. This will bring some of the high-paying jobs in our states also. If a particular company does not set up operations in our states, we will buy very little products from that company and will buy from those that do set up operations in Greater Punjab. Number B. Punjab government must have well qualified and experienced people capable of negotiating with multinationals as well as world leaders. Such leaders will not necessarily be available from the IAS ranks. Therefore, government and industry trade associations must be built so that capable teams of negotiators in every industry can be put together to become members of trade missions or negotiation teams with other countries or other corporations. Number C. Punjab must ask Mr. Arvind Kejriwal and his in-laws, the owners of the Bajaj group of companies, to return the favor I did for them about 25 years ago. When they were beginning to export their scooters and autos, Japan also got into the market and would have seriously affected the Bajaj business. At that time, I appealed to the Japanese to not compete against Bajaj so that India can also earn some little foreign exchange for its basic needs. The Japanese acceded to my urgent request and have allowed Bajaj to flourish over the past 25 years globally. I would like Mr. Kejriwal to ask his in-laws to return the favor by setting up part of their operations in Punjab so that Punjabis can also benefit from some high-paying manufacturing jobs. They will find Punjabis to be very hard workers and having a mechanical aptitude which will prove to be invaluable in their manufacturing businesses. If they cannot accommodate us, we will have to look for alternatives. D. We also need every industry and every type of business located in Greater Punjab that an economy such as the USA, Japan, Germany, and China have if we want to be able to defend ourselves against Germany and China. We will develop our own manufacturing businesses such as in much of defense-related manufacturing, heavy equipment, electrical equipment, power generation, vehicle manufacturing, aviation industry, pharmaceuticals, health equipment, textiles, food processing, beverages, garment manufacturing, electrical appliance manufacturing, export-related manufacturing, construction materials, construction equipment, chemicals, railroad and other transportation equipment, ship manufacturing, massive India's cash cow, the IT industry, insurance, engineering, and professional services. R&D facilities, business services such as advertising, public relations, marketing, research, and all types of consulting to generate employment for hundreds of millions of people, including some of the highest paying jobs. We will need a world-class construction industry to carry out the commercial and residential construction. We also must develop the capability to participate in the nation's nuclear and space programs. Number E, we will need to set up and upgrade the existing financial services sector to world class. Upgrading the sector will require us to collaborate with top global banks, investment banks and investment managers, online stock trading companies, and other financial services firms. F. A top-tier company needs a highly educated and trained workforce to man various sectors of the economy. That would require world-class educational institutions. We have some in the IITs and IIMs, but many more need to be created, well-funded, and upgraded to become world-class. We will need to tap into the North Indian diaspora and academics abroad, voting them and provide them incentives to come and teach, even if as visiting professors. Partnerships will have to be built with top universities as were done in starting IITs and IIMs. We need to follow China's example in this regard. China had massive help from German masqueraders in American universities who helped fund American professors for teaching and research stints in China. Thus, China got a great deal of this benefit without having to pay for it. I think America, Europe, and Japan can provide a similar help to some extent. A portion can also be funded by Indian firms set up as joint ventures between multinational corporations and Indian promoters. Number G. India has a vibrant IT industry, a veritable cash cow, most of which is headquartered outside of Greater Punjab. We intend to change that. By collaboration with some of the best companies in the world, such as Apple, Dell, IBM, HP, and others, we tend to capture most of what is manufactured in China by these companies and bring it to Greater Punjab. And we intend to compete against Chinese companies in the global market in the lower and mid-term segments that American firms don't compete against by manufacturing mobile phones, telecom infrastructure, and related equipment. Just as manufacturing in China by foreign companies is being done for importing from China, we intend to collaborate with Fortune Global 1000 companies and smaller companies to manufacture for export to the United States, Japan, Britain, Europe, minus Germany, etc. We intend to become the largest trading partner with these economies and replace China. Literally, hundreds of large new companies in all sectors of the economy will be created, generating reasonably well paid employment for hundreds of millions, taking pressure off North India's dependence on agriculture. And within 10 years, our goal should be to create at least 20 billionaires and hundreds of quarter billionaires and have a $5 trillion economy in the Greater Punjab area. I hope this information will be used to develop a starting blueprint for economic development for Punjab and the Greater Punjab area. I will communicate with the Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann's office via email my next steps to help implement the economic development plan for Punjab and Greater Punjab area. Once again, heartiest congratulations to AAP, Punjab AAP, Mr. Bhagwant Mann and Arvind Kejriwal for their magnificent victory in Punjab State elections. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please continue to watch my videos and read my articles on important world events, World War III watch, politics, international business, advice on health and medical problems, and much more for in-depth and insightful analysis. Please also subscribe to my YouTube channel and Facebook channels, Unmasked Truth with Harmanjeet Saini, to view and get information on the latest videos. Some people do not have the time to go through the full length of videos. They find it more convenient to read the text of the video. Unfortunately, YouTube does not provide the capability to make the text of my videos available on YouTube. But fortunately, Facebook does provide that capability. So I make the text of my videos available on my Facebook channel, which you can then easily copy.